Okay, so today I wanted to talk about Pluto and Mars Synastry, but then at the same time I was like, but I want to make some clothes. So I figured I'm going to talk about Pluto and Mars Synastry while I make some clothes. You see this huge bag of clothes, y'all? Cost me $30. Okay, this is cotton. Okay, this is 100% cotton. And I didn't mean to get this much. I really didn't. But it just happened like that. So I guess we'll be calling this my Pluto Square Mars outfit here. Now, when it comes to this aspect, now I told you, Pluto to Venus was one of my worst favorite ones. It's up there. It's the top worst favorite, honestly. It's the top. The second worst to me is Pluto Mars. Pluto Mars, I'll never forget when I was like maybe my early 20s and I just was learning astrology, and you know, the people that actually knew it, they had some leverage on you because you really wanted to learn it, and it wasn't as plentiful out there on the internet and all that stuff. You had maybe a couple sites. So I had this old teacher, and I remember I had a synastry with somebody, and I was like, oh my God, we have a Pluto Mars opposition. And he was like, run. You better run. And I was like, what you mean I need to run? Like, what do I need to run for? What am I running from? Like, that's crazy. But it's like, no, you need to run. It's diabolical. The opposition and the square of this, I don't even know if it's worth it. People think it's worth it because it's like, oh, this person is going to be so sexually magnetic, because that's what I thought. I was thinking about the sexual part. And I was like, oh, shoot. So it's going to be popping like that in the bedroom? And it's like, no, dear, no. This is not an astrology class. Y'all already know. Pluto is about destruction. It tears things down. And you have Mars. The Mars person, that's their drive. That's their stamina. That's their ability to want to be ambitious, to want to strive to the next thing. So I, as the Pluto person, puts my power, I put my thumb pretty much on your ability to move. Man, that's a fight waiting to happen. And when I say it's gonna be a fight, Pluto and Mars rule explosions, volcanic eruptions and stuff like that. So I'm going to start, though, talking about the good parts of this aspect. Okay, we're going to talk about if it's a trine or it's a sextile. You have your Pluto trining another person's Mars. You are going to empower them to make decisions. You're going to empower them to make empowering decisions. You push them to go further than they've ever been able to go before. And I think that is wonderful. That's absolutely beautiful to have with someone. Okay, so we got our first part of our pants here. Okay, we haven't sewn anything, but this is the first model here. But we got this person that's pushing you to do your best. You tend to have more stamina around the Pluto person. Things just get done a little bit more, things get done with a little more force for you. You may even find that you might be even more aggressive, or that your aggression actually takes you somewhere. You get things done with your aggression. You make things happen with your ability to act. Okay, so this is important if you are, let's say you're a pretty ambitious person and you're trying to achieve a goal. You hang out with your Pluto Mars friend. That Pluto Mars friend is going to be the one that makes sure you actually achieve that goal. They're going to make sure it happens. They're going to make sure that you have the wherewithal to do it. And that, to me, is incredible, especially an athlete or someone that has to do something extremely hard. You're going to want your Pluto Mars friend there to basically push you forward or make it happen easier, give you more power. I'm going to mention power a lot because we're talking about Mars and Pluto. Okay, if it's a partner and it's, let's say this is a sexual thing, then yes. Okay, this is the good part. This actually does increase the pleasure in the bedroom. It increases the endurance. It makes you want to go for a long time. It makes you have a unforgettable sexual experience, kind of like Mars in the 8th house. Pluto wants to change that person. Pluto also wants to possess them in an sexual way. They want to possess your body, your mind, probably that too, but that's more Pluto Mercury. But they want to just possess you, to own you in some way. Now, it depends on what you want. If that's the kink that works for you, I'm not hating in no type of way. But I'm just saying, be prepared when you meet someone like that. It's not just going to be an ordinary experience if you sleep with this person. They're probably going to change you. They're going to change you physically. And they're going to change your ability to want to do anything, your motivation in life. I mean, I don't know. Some good nookie will change your whole life. It can happen. But this is because Pluto has that penetration. It wants to go deep within that. And it wants to, Pluto can get even controlling, right? And we start to get into the more rougher aspects. But when it's a trine, you're going to like that control Pluto gives. You actually going to enjoy it. And it's going to be something that you find exciting, right? You find empowering. You find it strengthens you. It's that sexual encounter that makes you want to get up and go exercise. Pluto may be the person to make you want to exercise more and actually see the results, the transformation in you physically. Or Pluto could take you off that whole route. Make you gain about 11 pounds. And then you're sitting there wondering, how did I change? I used to run 5 miles and now I can't. Now I feel disempowered, right? So let's go into the rougher spots. And I might touch again on a good point as I go. So empowered. Pluto has the power to make you feel empowered and also disempower you physically. So this doesn't have to necessarily mean hurt you in a fight. However, if you are going against Pluto or going against someone whose Pluto hits your Mars, I wouldn't do it. Personally, and who can really determine this? You know what I'm saying? Who can actually, hey, before we get to a fight, let me look at your birth chart. You can't do that. So, you just could basically guess. But if somebody's Pluto is hitting your Mars, do not get into an altercation with them. There is a high chance that they will win, and they'll hurt you so bad, you're not going to be the same, okay? Remember, Pluto changes things. So you think you're getting in a fight, you might lose your whole eye. You know what I'm saying? You may absolutely lose your eye and never be able to see the same way again. You see what I'm saying? Don't mess with it. I wouldn't mess with it. So this is where when we get into relationships with people that have Pluto on our Mars, we need to understand, is this a conjunction or is this a square? If it is a square, like my old friend said, you better get the stepping, you better get the moving on if this is a square. Because like I said, this person can actually hurt you. This person, that doesn't mean everybody that has this will get hurt. Maybe you want a personal trainer that has Pluto hitting your Mars. But then again, I don't know, because I would be concerned that they may bring an injury with that Pluto there. Because again, we want that change to be for good. Jeez. We don't want it to be some try to put me in a wheelchair. But again, like I said, it doesn't always have to be that way. What is the situation with Pluto itself in the chart? Is Pluto power hungry? Can Pluto stand its ground? Okay, so now this is the top. Oh, shit. It's got a hole in the back of it. They could even hurt you in an sexual way. Maybe this might be the partner that could be a little too rough. I mean, I can go all in, but this is YouTube, okay? So I have to be careful. But what I'm saying is the destruction can be quite massive to the Mars person in the square. The Pluto person, again, is going to want to control your ambitions and your movement. You may find that you do things that you wouldn't normally do. Things that are a little heavier that you would normally, committing a crime. They may get you to do something really dark or shadowy that makes you question your whole existence. What am I doing in my life? They may change your appetite for intimacy. You might have found that you were a person that could do without. Yeah, you could do without it. You were all right, not necessarily needing a certain level of affection or attention. But now that this Pluto Mars person is in your life, it's like you just want it all night and day. Sorry, I'm just saying. Or they could ruin that appetite. They might do something, because Pluto is also repulsion. They may do something that may repulse you from ever wanting to do the deed again. Again, this gets really, really heavy, but I'm trying to keep it as appropriate as I can for YouTube. But when I tell you I really don't like this aspect, I really don't. Like, I may try to tell myself stories for a Pluto Venus. You know what I'm saying? I might be like, well, we could work it out. You know, I don't mind. You can be in control. You could talk yourself into a Venus. You could talk yourself into a Pluto Venus situation. But it's really dangerous trying to do that. Because literally, Pluto and Mars, that combination is danger. Pluto is danger. You are putting power and aggression in the same boat. Talking about you love me. You want power over me. You want to be able to literally tell me what to do. That's what that is. That's the tell me what to do aspect. You can tell me to do great things that transform my life, or you can tell me to do the worst things that can ruin and destroy me, put me in jail. Because again, if Pluto wants to stop Mars's motion, it has the power to do that and can suppress it. And when you're in jail, that suppresses your motion, don't it? The suppression of motion here, telling you what to do. Remember, Pluto is the master. Pluto is the slave master. Okay? Pluto holds the key to that person in total and obsolete control of another person. Or Pluto on someone else's planet. Pluto's going to have total control over that planet, or the person is going to be fighting for their own control. Control is constantly going to be up for discussion. And I don't know about you, but that is exhausting. It's very exhausting. So if Pluto is the slave master, then Mars is the slave. Now Mars has this ability to do what it's told. Why? Mars is the soldier. Mars gets its command from the sun or whatever authority figure is pointing Mars's direction. It needs focus, it needs direction. And Pluto comes like, hey, I got you. This is the direction I want you to go in from now on. This is how I want you to stand. This is how fast I want you to walk. This is how slow I want you to walk. I decide when we're going to have intimacy. I don't care if I'm the man, if I'm the woman, it don't matter. I am the one that gets to decide that as the Pluto person. Pluto's not giving up control of when things start and go for you. And that's the tricky part. Now, when it gets physical now, when it gets into a physical type of area with Pluto and Mars, I think this is where people need to back off. So, I'm always going to talk about how what it is if that person has it natally and their Pluto is hitting your Mars. When I tell you, I met somebody, or I knew someone for a few years that had their Mercury and their Mars in Capricorn, squaring their natal Pluto. And I tell you, this is one of the most diabolical people that I hope I never have to encounter again in my life. It was the worst aspect. This person was constantly plotting on ways to gain power and control over a situation or over the moment. And again, the older they are, the better they are at it, because they've been doing this since they was kids. I would highly recommend, I'm not saying everybody that has a Pluto-Mars conjunction or has Pluto squaring their Mars is going to be diabolical, or they're going to kind of constantly try to find ways to control themselves. And this is also a very internally self-destructive natal position to have, Like, these may be the kind of people that when they get pissed off, they might bang their head in the wall or something. It might go on like that, and that's very scary. Or throw things, break things, right? Mars is about destructive breaking things, and Pluto is also about it. Permanence of breaking. Now take your phone and break that ish. This is internally, so you have them already going through that in their lives, their natal lives. And then they come into your life and do the same shit. But now you're that glass that gets broken. All right? Your arm is the phone now that's on the floor. You see what I'm saying? This is why it can get really, really toxic here. Pluto rules toxicity, a toxic way of being for Mars. I think that we also tend to forget Mars represents our stress levels, our capacity to even handle stress at all. And Pluto comes and it's going to increase that stress. You may be more stressed out to the point where you start to get breakouts, skin infections, any issues that increase your inflammatory response. Depending on where the Mars is the Mars in the second house? Shoot, Mars is in the second house. You can guarantee maybe you'll have indigestion when you're dealing with them. Pluto Mars, shit, in the beginning of the video I said it might have been probably my number 2 bad aspect, but honestly I think it's the number 1. I think it's definitely that aspect. If I personally saw it in me and Synastry with someone, I would step back. I think that old man kind of knew what he was talking about when he told me abort mission, completely abort mission. Pluto is giving more power and energy to Mars. Mars's anger, Mars's sense of assertion is now being transformed. It can go into even a dark demonic sense as to, hey, I don't know why I did that. What made me say what I said to that person, or what made me slap that person in the face and I shouldn't have did it. Things like that. Pluto is also in control of Mars's actions, but Mars likes to fight. So you have an energy of trying to control what somebody does and somebody that wants to fight that or stop that. And that equals the explosive energy of it. Do I think couples can push through this and last through this type of synastry? Maybe. It depends on if maybe the Mars person is super athletic and the Pluto person is there to kind of push them to do things they've never done before, to transform their body, to transform their strength. How they fight will change. Change for the good if it's a trine, and depending on the sign. But let's say Mars is in a sign like Libra. Pluto is going to walk all over that Mars. All right, and Pluto is going to make Mars become more aggressive. It increases the aggression of Mars. On the positive, it'll increase the aggression towards the right people. But personally, if this explodes into an argument or any type of fight, you have force and control over anger and movement and drive, and that creates throwing bows. Somebody gonna be throwing something at somebody. So be really, really careful with this. If you do see it, I would be extremely careful. If you're dating someone and you see it, pay attention to how your body feels. Again, I'm not here to say that everybody that has that aspect is evil or diabolical. Those that I have met are, but doesn't mean everybody in the world is like that. But you have to pay attention to how your body feels around them. Are you able to relax? Because we can't get everybody's chart. We can't see the details. And people lie about their time. So you can't know that. So this is why we got to pay attention to how we feel. The aspects don't lie no matter what, whether you can see them or not. So one thing I noticed with this person, I would feel tension. I would get pains and aches in my body. Mars represents surgery. I mean, this is almost like somebody that could really put you in the hospital. I hate to say it like that, y'all, but this is somebody that could really put you in the hospital. Again, transforming your physical body, your physical strength, make you damn near catatonic. If it's the wrong person and they don't care about you, and that's even tougher. I don't know if anybody out there, and this happens a lot in gay relationships too, where you find that you're sleeping with the enemy. You think that your partner is this person that's down for you and there for you. Pluto aspect Mars is that movie, Sleeping with the Enemy. Because literally, that person is not there to help you if it's a square. Conjunction, I still don't like it. But it's better than a square, because we know that square is there for the battle. 9 times out of 10, if you had an enemy that really crushed you, their Pluto hit your Mars in some type of way. So I'm not going to keep this video as long as I'd like it to. I'm excited because I finished my outfit and I got to show you how it came out. But, you know, it's just trying a different type of format. Sometimes I get tired of painting, and I also make clothing. So I combine them, or I separate them, or I do whatever I'm feeling in the moment. All right, y'all. Hope you enjoyed this video, and take care.